Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today's a video I'm really excited to do. It's my entire 4K collection. I did a previous video about my whole entire Blu-ray collection. You guys really enjoyed that. The views are great for that. I'm happy to see that video doing well and you guys interacting with it. But today we got the 4K collection. So this is just 4K discs. I'm going to show you guys my 4K collection as well. But I have a lot of 4K steelbooks I'm not going to show off. I'm going to save that for another video where I just do steelbooks. Like I said, I want to do an Arrow and Shout Scream Factory video as well. Maybe that'll probably be my next one. Criterion Collection video. And finally steelbooks will be last. But this is my 4K collection. I have a good amount. Last one, I think my video ran for about an hour. Probably run around the same time for this one. But let's get into it. I'm going to do the same thing, hold up the movie, tell you guys my thoughts on it. Maybe tell you about the restoration a little bit if I know about it. That's it. So let's get into it. I'm going to start with the numbers and let's do it. Alright, so numbers one is always a short category. But first up, I got 1917. Hopefully you guys can see it with the lighting. And I really love 1917. Came out in 2019. What a great year for movies. Just honestly, it's like top 5 war movies for me. I'd probably maybe put Saving Private Ryan up there, Dunkirk. This one might be better than Dunkirk in my opinion, but Sam Mendes did a fantastic job. The atmosphere is great. I love the whole like one-shot dynamic they tried doing with it, and it worked well. And yeah, it's just a stunning movie. Roger Deakins, great cinematography in it, and there's some cool actually behind-the-scenes special features for this disc. And Roger Deakins says some cool things that it's worth it to pick that up. Next up is a classic 2001 Space Odyssey. This movie, it holds like a special place like in my heart, I guess. Only because when I first saw it, I actually didn't like it that much. I gave it like a 3 out of 5 when I first saw it. And it was just I was just in that phase where I was just like, started getting the movies. Like I knew what I liked already. I wasn't really in like the cinema phase yet. So I was like, this is boring. Like people actually like watch this. Like nothing's happening. And then as the movie kept going on, obviously I was like, what the hell is going on? I don't understand anything. And so as I watched more and more stuff, kind of opened my mind up to a couple other things, the way filmmaking and everything goes. I watched it again and I like fell in love with it. It's so good. This is the back. Oh my God. Kubrick's one of my favorite directors even before that because I love The Shining. But 2001 Space Odyssey it's technical marvel. It's the best sci-fi movie of all time, I think, in my opinion. It started everything. It's so good. It's so good. I love it. So let's move on to A. So starting out with A, we got American Psycho, starring Christian Bale. I really love this movie. It's got the UK stuff where they put the ratings on there. I guess I got it from Zavi. I don't know why they do that, but just a great movie. Probably another 5 out of 5 for me. Christian Bale puts on his great performance. Directed by a woman. I love that about the movie. Willem Dafoe is great. I need to watch that again. Actually, it deserves a rewatch. Next up, okay, I guess we'll start with this one. Avengers Endgame. Next up. It is my favorite Marvel movie. I know there's a debate between Endgame or Infinity War. I do say Endgame. When I watch them back to back, it's just I love how powerful Endgame is towards the end and everything. But Infinity War is also super powerful at the end, so I don't know. I always go back and forth as well, but I think Endgame is my favorite Marvel movie. 5 out of 5 for me. Okay, next up is Apocalypse Now, the final cut. Obviously the 4K restoration. Really cool, actually, like what it's got in here. Like cool artwork inside. Let me see, make sure you guys can see it. You got a bunch of discs. Oh, shit. I actually haven't checked out the 4K restoration of this yet. But this is another movie where it's like, I watched it, like when I first started trying to watch movies, you go down like the IMDb list, right? When you're trying to like first get into movies, you look up the top 200. Apocalypse Now is obviously up there and it deserves it. Another 5 out of 5 movie, brilliant. Coppola is the best. And yeah, I need to watch that again. That's another top 5 war movie. Next up, I got the 4K Alfred Hitchcock Classics Edition. So this comes with Rear Window, Vertigo, Psycho, and The Birds. I watched all these. The Birds I haven't watched in a while. Like I watched it, I think when I was younger, at the full thing through. But I heard the restorations are insane for this. I think I did actually pop in The Birds just to look at the 4K. Really great. It's such a good restoration. I love seeing good restorations from movies back here. What is it, 60s? When they're done right, like they look so good. So, I mean, brilliant movies. Rear Window is fantastic film. Probably my favorite, actually, of this bunch. Vertigo is another great one. I love the visuals in that. And Psycho's a classic that, as a horror fan, you gotta love Psycho. It's started the whole slashers. So, and The Birds is also good, too. I gotta watch that one again, though. All right, let's go into B. All right, so for B, we got Big Fish by Tim Burton. Make sure the lighting is good. Let's see. I don't know if you can see it that well. Big Fish stars Ewan McGregor. I know a lot of people love this movie, and now I like it too. I like it. I think I was expecting to love it, like how a lot of people like it. or love it. It's kind of like Tim Burton's Forrest Gump. You know, he follows Ewan McGregor like as a kid and as an adult, coping with his father, his dying father. And it is emotional. It really does it hits like some of those emotional beats here and there. It just didn't resonate with me as much as I wanted to, and I don't know why. But towards the end, it's such a beautiful ending. It's really a cool ending. So I think I need to watch it again. But I do like it. I just don't love it. Next up is a 4K A Bridge in the River Kwai. I'm so upset I haven't seen this yet. This is actually one of the first like 4Ks I ever got. It's another war movie, 60th anniversary. Alec Guinness is in. I actually didn't even know that. But it's another classic that I just haven't been able to see yet. Winner of 7 Academy Awards, including 1957 Best Picture. Yeah, I gotta watch this. I gotta put that on my list to watch it soon. Next up, I reviewed these for my Blu-ray, but I also have the 4Ks of these. So it's let's do this one first. We got Blade Runner, the original, the final cut, 4K restoration. Watched this again recently. So good. Another one that's in like 2001, where when I first saw it, I thought it was boring. I thought it was dumb. I didn't understand it. You know, I didn't like it. I think that's what a lot of people's first impressions might be of it, if you're not like super into movies, like cinema or whatever. So, but when I watched it again, it just blew me away. The themes, I already talked about it. I think it's so good. Next up, its sequel, Blade Runner 2049. The 4K restoration for this one looks really good just because the movie is beautiful. Denis Villeneuve is really good, you know, directing this. I already talked about those movies. I think they're both good. I probably had them at around the same rating. I don't know which one I like better. Maybe 2049 I do actually like a little bit better. I don't know. Next up, we got Ridley Scott's Black Hawk Down. Another 4K restoration that, like my first pickups. I think when you look up, like, best 4Ks, this one is, like, up there. It's, like, number 1 for a couple of sites. And I watched it, and it's pretty good. You know what it is about this one? The sound is really good. With the helicopters and everything, the sound is, like, it's really good for 4K. But Black Hawk Down I do like a lot. You know, another war movie. Is it a war movie? Or I guess, I don't know if it's war movie. Like military movie. That's another good one though. Probably rate like a 4 out of 5. Next up we got Batman vs Superman Ultimate Edition Dawn of Justice by Zack Snyder. Really torn this movie. I know a lot of people love it. I know a lot of people hate it. I'm somewhere in the middle. There's a lot of things I do like about it. Batman vs Superman fight. Gal Gadot showing up. Her being in it in general. I like a lot about it, but Lex Luthor just takes so much out of it for me, and some things that Batman does, and towards the end with the Martha stuff, I'm just not a big fan of all that stuff. So I'm like in the middle of Batman vs Superman. I give like a 2.7 out of 5 maybe. I don't think I actually end up liking it by the end, but unlike that movie, we got Baby Driver by Edgar Wright. 5 out of 5 movie for me. I love this movie. Just so much fun, great action, great cast, great characters. Probably my favorite Edgar Wright movie. But I don't know, actually. If I rewatch it, maybe like Hot Fuzz or Shaun of the Dead might be up there. But Baby Driver is brilliant movie. 5 out of 5 for me. So now starting out with C, another classic I haven't seen yet. I don't know actually why I haven't seen this yet, but Close Encounters of the Third Kind, directed by Steven Spielberg. I know. I don't know why I haven't seen it. You know why? Because I think my mom wants to watch it with me. So it's one of those things where it's like, oh, we'll watch it this, and then watch it this, and then watch it this. And then we end up being too busy. We never watch it. So it's just been sitting on my shelf for like, I don't even know, months now. And I just haven't seen it yet. Directed by Spielberg, John Williams has a score. I need to watch this like pronto. I don't know what I'm doing. All right, next up is one of my favorite Pixar movies, Coco. Coco is my top 4 or 5 Pixar movies. Maybe the Toy Story movies are just above it. I just love this movie. It's so sad. It's probably the saddest movie I've ever seen. Like for me, like I just cry so much every single time I watch it. Every time, I'll always cry for some reason. Like I've seen it a couple of times and I've cried every single time. The music's great. I love that movie. Next up, we got John Carpenter's Christine. I'm sure you guys have heard about it. About a killer car, right? Named Christine, and it's got the same sort of score as like Halloween, and it's just the car goes around killing people, and the driver, you know, it's actually really good. I actually like Christine a lot. I think it's so good. Maybe, and I love a lot of Carpenter movies. I don't even know how I'd rank them all. But yeah, based on Stephen King's novel too, so that's another plus. But yeah, Christine's really good. But let's go into D. Okay, so starting out with D, we got a film I just talked about, Dunkirk by Christopher Nolan. This is probably like one of the defining 4Ks for me. Like if you want a really good 4K with the picture and the sound, like Dunkirk just showcases that so well. You know, another fantastic war movie. Another one that I actually didn't like the first time I saw it. I was like, there's no story here. The characters suck. You know, they're not even really focused on it. It's just really focused on like the war and like what's going on. and I actually didn't like it. Then I watched it again, and just it just looks so good. The cinematography is so good. The action is actually really good too, and the score is also really good. And I just by that time I was already a big Nolan fan, so I just loved it even more. But Dunkirk, yeah, I'd probably put it in my top 5 war movies. Maybe like towards the back end, like number 5, a couple of better ones. Next up is Stephen King's Doctor Sleep, the sequel to The Shining. I actually really, really, really enjoyed this movie. Both times I watched it. Includes the director's cut too, which I think I watched. And Ewan McGregor, I've always loved him ever since Revenge of the Sith, or when I first saw Phantom Menace, I guess as a kid actually. And yeah, Doctor Sleep is. I really rate it like super high. I give it like a 4.5, 4.4. I think it was a really cool sequel. I just it gets a little bit too magic-y here and there. Maybe that's what I don't like about it. But once you get into the mansion towards the end, and they do everything with The Shining, the music hits, it's just really good. So I do enjoy it a lot. Next up, we got the 4K edition of The Deer Hunter. This movie is so good. My mom actually showed it to me. It's a Shout Select actually. So this should be my Shout Factory video. Alright, whatever. We're already here. I didn't even know that's the Shout Select one. But yeah, it has Meryl Streep, John Cazale, De Niro, Christopher Walken, collector's edition too. But another perfect movie for me. Just brilliant performances, cool story. Another war movie that I guess I'd put up there too. Shit, I don't know how I'd actually rank war movies. It's a tough category to do. Next up, we got 4K of The Dark Knight. I love the cover of this with Joker's face. Probably my favorite movie of all time. Every time, I always go back and forth between, The Dark Knight, Goodfellas, Shining, Empire Strikes Back. Those are, my top 4 on Letterboxd. If you want to follow me on there, too, I'm on there. Same name, Cinema Review. And, but then I go and, I rewatch Dark Knight, and I'm like, okay, this is my favorite movie of all time. I just love it. It's so good. And as a Batman fan, it's just the perfect Batman movie. We'll never see anything like that again. And then lastly, we got Deadpool, which I love, too. I love Deadpool. Probably give, a 4 out of 5. Just still really funny. Ryan Reynolds is the perfect Deadpool. Some people fit their roles perfectly. We already had the perfect Iron Man, and I think we've had the perfect Deadpool. I don't know if we'll ever see a better Deadpool than Ryan Reynolds' depiction of it. And that's it. Let's go into E. So for E, we only got 2. We got first up Ex Machina. Probably another. I actually made a post recently. I think I talked about this last video too. Actually, I made a top 10 sci-fi movies, and this hit the list. Ex Machina. I put it around maybe number 6. So good. It's such a cool story. It's Oscar Isaac's in it, and he's the person that's trying to create the first AI. So he's got one of his employees come in to test out the AI to see if it can actually have feelings with someone or interact with someone in a certain way. And it's kind of this whole hidden test. Really cool, kind of dark sci-fi, but also really beautiful towards the end. A24 film, so A24. That's the perfect way to describe them. Dark but beautiful. Alright, so next up we got Spielberg again. E.T., one of my favorite movies as a kid. Just John Williams puts a fantastic iconic score. I do also end up crying for this movie towards the end, and it's just so nostalgic for me. I love E.T. so much. Brilliant film. What's after E? A, B, C, D, E, F. Let's go to F. Before we get to F, I just wanted to ask you guys if you guys are enjoying this, please like the video. It helps it out a lot. But also, I forgot to show you guys this for C. I have the Columbia Classics 4K Volume 1 edition. It's got Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, Lawrence of Arabia, Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop... I'm trying to remember what that's looking at. Or How I Learned to Stop Worrying, Love the Bomb, Gandhi, League of Their Own, and Jerry Maguire. I haven't seen Mr. Smith Goes to Washington yet. I've seen Lawrence of Arabia. Another one where I watched in that phase where I wasn't really liking the cinema movies, so I don't like Lawrence of Arabia right now, but I need to rewatch it, and I'm sure I'll fucking love it the next time I see it. Dr. Strangelove I did love a lot. I love Dr. Strangelove. Gandhi I haven't seen yet. League of Their Own I haven't seen yet. And Jerry Maguire I watched recently, and I did enjoy it. But also a weird option to put in the same categories as these. So let's open it up. This is my favorite collection. I can't wait to have part 2. Look, it opens up like this. Hold on, let me try to open it up. So inside you got your the discs over here, 3, you can just pull them out like that and everything. Same thing on this side, and then opens up to Columbia. Let me show you guys this. Columbia, and then in Columbia there's a booklet that I actually haven't been able to look at that much. I flipped through a couple pages, and I want to actually read it when I watch these. Inside, cool booklet showing the movies and all that stuff. So really, such a sick set, and I think they were sold out really quick. Right now, I think this one goes for like $500. Maybe this is like the most expensive thing in my collection, maybe. But it's worth it. I just love the way it looks. It just looks so cool. And the back shows like all the different Columbia like logos. And that's it. I can't wait for part two. I want to like, they're so expensive though. I think they usually go for like 100, 150 when it's first starting getting bought and released. But then they shoot up to like 500 because, I mean, look at it. It's so sick. Let's go into F now, right? So we're going to have First Blood, right, with Rambo, first Rambo movie. And I like First Blood a lot, actually. I don't love it, but I should actually watch this again because it is a really cool movie. But yeah, there's not much to say about First Blood. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen it. I like it a lot. Next up is Forrest Gump on 4K. I wish I got the steelbook of this, but I just didn't. It was at a time where I was like buying so many, and just I was like, I don't want to spend another money on another steelbook. Let me just keep what I have. I already have Forrest Gump in 4K, so I'll just not get the steelbook. But Forrest Gump, another 5 out of 5 movie. It's just always on TV, so I always never feel like I have to like go and like rush to watch it again. But I will probably watch it again soon because it does need a rewatch. I haven't seen it in a while. And let's go into the next letter. So for G, we got the KL Studio Classics edition of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Starring Clint Eastwood. I mean, just another classic. So much to say about this movie, right? The score by Ennio Morricone. He's one of the best scores of all time. It's I love that. Even, you know which one I even like better than that one? The Ecstasy of Gold one. In this one, where it's in all the commercials now. I can't even. I keep drawing a blank, so I'm on camera. But I love this movie so much. You know, I watched this movie, but I never seen Fistful of Dollars or the next one. What's the next one called? For a Dollar More. I just went straight into this one without knowing, but it's still like a 5 out of 5, even without even watching the previous two. And I don't think you need to. I mean, I didn't have to, but maybe it makes this movie even better watching those. I need to watch those again, and then I'll go. I need to watch those two, and then I'll watch this one again. But yeah, probably the best Western of all time. I think everyone can agree, right? The best Western of all time? I think so. Next up, I got The Green Book in 4K. I see a lot of people hating on this movie. I actually enjoyed it a lot. I mean, when I first saw it, I gave it a 5 out of 5. I don't know if I'd read it that way again. Just because a lot has changed since the last time I saw this. But I love the whole Christmas vibe towards the end. I love the whole, commentary and the relationships and everything that's going on. The whole story is really great. I think Mahershala Ali and Viggo do really good. So yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed this movie. I probably will still enjoy it too next time I watch it. I just don't know if I'll have it on that 5 out of 5 caliber, But yeah, I don't know why it's hated on a lot. Maybe because I don't know why. All right, next up, Goodfellas. I talked about how this is one of my favorite movies of all time. Probably another one where it's like when you watch it, you're like, okay, wait, this one's my favorite movie of all time, and you just keep going back and forth. But yeah, it's not really much to say about Goodfellas. 5 out of 5. Probably Scorsese's best movie for me, in my opinion, like at least my favorite. Maybe not his best. I don't know. Maybe it is his best. But Goodfellas classic, love it. And then lastly, I got The Great Gatsby, which I got for like an event. I had to pick a movie for an event, and I chose this one because I had to like rewatch it for something else. Watched it for the first time, in school. Maybe a lot of you guys did too. You read The Great Gatsby, then you watch the movie. This is one we watched. Really weird style. Like I think a lot of people love the style when it's got like the Lana Del Rey songs in it, and it is different. It is cool. DiCaprio does good as Gatsby. I just think the vibe is a little weird sometimes, and the style is a little too like cartoonish for me. But it also does fit like the whole like mystery of Gatsby, So I don't know. I think the movie is enjoyable. I think it's okay. It's not something that I love, but it's a good movie. I think it's fine. All right, so now for H, we got Home Alone, Christmas classic. I am actually more a fan of Home Alone 1 than 2. I don't know why. I always thought 2 is better, like always. My whole life, I was always like, oh, 2 is always better than 1, 2 is always better than 1. I lived close to New York City, I love the whole New York City scenery of it. I was always like, I was a 2 more than 1 guy. Then recently I watched it. I watched Home Alone 1, and I watched Home Alone 2, and I was like, wait, I loved Home Alone, the first one, a lot more than the second one. For some reason, the second one just didn't do it for me this time around, and I wondered why. I was literally watching, I was like, why isn't this hitting, like, why isn't this resonating with me as much as I wanted to? Like, I just loved the first one. But I don't know. We'll watch those again during Christmas season. We always got to watch Home Alones. Next up, one you got to watch during Christmas season. Oh, actually, wait, Halloween season. Let's do this one first. We'll go with the original Halloween 1978 by John Carpenter. Probably my favorite horror movie of all time. Like my favorite, I'd say. I got the poster up on my wall over there. Michael Myers is a menace. Carpenter puts on an iconic score. The first is this the first like slasher movie, or like is Psycho classified as the first slasher, or is Psycho more of, is that the first horror movie, right? That's like the Cabin of Dr. Caligari, which I watched too. And then Psycho's what? Psycho's the first slasher, right? But this kind of changed the whole everything, right? Halloween. So yeah, I mean, this is just, I don't even know what to say about Halloween. I love this movie. My favorite horror movie, favorite movie to put on during Halloween season. You know, it's like a couple, maybe they're better horror movies, maybe. I don't even think so. But next up, we got 2018's Halloween. I don't know what to say about this movie. I like it. Do I like it? I don't even know. I rewatched it last year. I think there's just too many things that I don't like about it. And I can go into a whole thing about this movie, about what they do with Jamie Lee Curtis's character at the end, Laurie Strode. I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it. Halloween Kills comes out October 15th. I'm still super hyped for Halloween Kills. And there's a lot that they do right in this movie that I do love. And especially some scenes that are just perfect. But there's also some things I just don't like what they did with certain things. So I gotta watch it again though. We'll watch it again. We got October 15th, yes, we'll watch it again soon. Then we got Hacksaw Ridge, it's still in the case. Another movie that I gave 5 out of 5 to when I first saw it. Now if I watch it again, I might still give 5 out of 5 to, because I do think it's a really good movie. Directed by Mel Gibson. Garfield puts on one of his best performances. I don't even know if this is his best. He's got some good ones out there. But yeah, another great war movie. Probably one of my top 5 as well. Really love it. Love the whole theme of it. And let's go into the next letter. Alright, so for I, we only got one. And you can probably guess it. It's Interstellar. Which, I mean, I got other eyes, but they're steelbook forms. And Interstellar is probably my... oh my god, it's so tough saying this. I love this movie. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, this is a 5 out of 5 for me. I don't even know what I was trying to say before. I put it as the best sci-fi movie of the 2010s, right? It's probably like a top 3 sci-fi movies ever made for me. Top 3, it's so hard to do. I just love it. It's another one where it's like a perfect example for like a 4K movie. Just how Nolan does sound and the way movies looked. Just, it's so perfect for 4K. And the story is so great from this movie. I don't even know, like, I feel like whatever I say for this movie isn't going to do it justice, so I don't even want to talk about it. But I do love this movie. I cry at the end for this one too. I just love the whole vibe of it, the music. Just the perfect movie. If you have a big screen at home, you turn off all the lights, you get popcorn, soda, you sit back in your recline chair, you put this on, you're just like transported. You're just engaged for the whole entire runtime. I love Interstellar. Love it, love it, love it. But let's go into the next letter. All right, so for J, this one it's a weird J. We got John Carpenter's, right? J. Escape from New York, Prince of Darkness, They Live, and The Fog, all in 4K. I just love like the way this looks. I don't know if it came with a slipcover or if you can see it like that well with the lighting and stuff. But it just got like a really cool like aesthetic to it. I've seen all of these now. Yes, I have. Escape from New York, I really like. With the 4K, it's kind of weird though, because it's such a dark movie. And with 4Ks, movies are just like really dark for the whole time. It can just look a little weird, the darkness sometimes. So you kind of see that in Escape from New York. And but I liked it a lot. I don't think I loved it as much as some other Carpenter movies. Like, it's like a mid-tier Carpenter movie for me. It's not a top tier for me. And I know a lot of people have it as top tier, so I do respect that opinion. And then Prince of Darkness, which, dude, this one, Prince of Darkness, I liked a lot, man. It's very different from what I thought going into it. I think that's the one where a bunch of school kids, they go and they're like part of the science program. They go into this church for like paranormal, like to investigate paranormal activity stuff. And really cool story. Like by the end, a really cool ending. The makeup and how the practical effects of that movie is so good. I really love that one. I think it's Prince of Darkness. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Prince of Darkness. They Live is another one that I loved, but another one where it's like I watched it at a time where I just couldn't get into it. I think it was just a little bit slow and boring for me. I gotta watch it again. Like, you remember that big long fight scene? Like, I thought that dragged, but if I watch it now, I'd probably laugh and think it's really funny. I'm a big wrestling fan too, so I loved how Roddy Piper stars in it. I think he actually did really good in it. He's got that awesome iconic line, like, I came here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum, you know. I think it was an improvised line too. So They Live is a really cool movie. Another like mid-tier, I guess I'd say, for Carpenter, but I do want to put it as top tier. And The Fog, which is another really cool one. Probably another mid-tier for me, but I think I liked it actually more than All of these. Maybe Prince of Darkness may put more over The Fog, 'cause I did really love Prince of Darkness, but The Fog is super good Carpenter movie. I love The Fog. And the restoration looked good for that one too, actually, because The Fog is another dark one, but also has a really cool shots of the water and stuff and the scenery because it takes place like near a lighthouse. So it's able to depict like those good locations, and the 4K looks good. Next up, we got Jurassic Park Limited Edition 25th Anniversary Collection. Man, love the Jurassic Park movies. I've seen all of them besides the newest one, Fallen Kingdom. I just heard it was really bad, so I never went to go see it. But this is cool. I'll just take it out for you guys. Same here, it's like a booklet style. So we got the first movie, Jurassic Park, which is obviously the best. 5 out of 5 for me. Another great iconic score by John Williams. Such a good movie. The Lost World, which I actually like a lot too. I give it like a 4 out of 5. I remember I tried reading the book as a kid, and I really enjoyed the book. I don't think I've ever finished it though. Jurassic Park 3, although nostalgic for like people around my age, I don't think it's that good of a movie. I don't really like it that much. I think it's actually pretty darn bad. But it is nostalgic, you know, because I remember watching it so much as a kid. Jurassic World, also, I think Jurassic World's good. I haven't watched it in a while, so I gotta watch it again. But it's pretty cool how we get to go back into that world. I'm excited for the new one as well. Hopefully it's good, but honestly, after hearing about Fallen Kingdom, I'm kind of skeptical about if it's gonna be good or not. But hopefully, we're crossing our fingers. Next up, we got John Wick, chapters 1 to 3. This is, all 3 movies are in here. It's, John Wick movies I love. I probably rate them all in the same way, you know. It'd probably go, like, I really love 2, though, as well. So, I don't know. It's hard to rank those. I gotta watch them all again, which I will before 4 comes out. But, yeah, just some of the best action choreography ever, right? I love the John Wick movies. And then, lastly, we got Jaws in 4K. We got the holographic version. I got the Steelbook as well, which I enjoy more, but what else? What is there to say about Jaws? It comes with this nice little booklet. The first summer blockbuster ever. You know, you somehow make a shark scary. Spielberg, another iconic score by Williams. So many cool. I gotta watch the making of Jaws. Supposedly that's really good. But yeah, I mean, I love Jaws. I think it's one of the best movies of all time, hands down. Spielberg's maybe second best, maybe even debatably his first best. Robert Shaw's in it. Oh my god, I love Jaws. One of the best movies of all time. Let's go into the next one. Starting with K, we got Knives Out in 4K. One of the best movies that came out in 2019. I'm really I always say it on this channel, I'm always into like murder mysteries. Like my favorite What If episode of Marvel was the murder mystery one. And this is just the perfect, if not like the best murder mystery movie like ever made. Rian Johnson directs it, who also directed Last Jedi. That's another conversation for another time. But Knives Out is brilliant. Look at that cast. It's a star-studded cast. Brilliant movie. I just love unpacking it. I've seen this movie so many times. Probably like 5 or 6 times. And I just love it each and every time. It's always made I love recommending to people. And it's just great. I'm excited for the next one. Another great cast. Daniel Craig's coming back. So I'm excited for that. Next up, we got The Karate Kid in 4K. I don't know if you noticed, I got my Karate Kid shirt on today. And I love The Karate Kid. I won't say I love all the Karate Kid movies, but I do love the first one, right? And I love Cobra Kai too. I'm a huge Cobra Kai fan. I can't wait to talk about Cobra Kai when season 5 comes out. I'll rank all the seasons. Someone wanted that. And this 35th anniversary 4K collection, and Karate Kid is just a great movie. You know, I don't want to make this video too long, so I got to cut down these reviews. But next one I got is Kingsman: The Secret Service, kind of like this beat up 4K one that I have. But I like Kingsman. I don't love Kingsman. I haven't even seen the second one yet, but the church fight scene is great in this. It's a cool spy movie. Like, you know what's cool about this movie? It's like it's different and like unique, and it's like kind of made its own thing out of itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have all these new like franchise movies like Star Wars, Marvel, DC coming out, and those always bring in like big box office numbers. Kingsman was like a different story, you know, spy genre. And now, you know, the new Kingsman movie is one of the most anticipated movies for a lot of people. So it's like, I love how it's a new idea that was able to, you know, build itself up, because we do need more stuff like that, you know, like independent stories that are separate from Star Wars, Marvel, and DC that will become big box office hits. So I appreciate the movie, and let's go into the next letter. Alright, so these L's are going to be really fun to talk about. So the first one is Love and Monsters, starring Dylan O'Brien, 2020 movie that came out last year. Kind of flew under the radar, you know. It's I kind of just watched because my sister loves Dylan O'Brien, and I actually heard it was good from some other people, so I decided to check it out, get the 4K, and I thought it was really good. I gave it like a 3.8 out of 5 probably. Another unique story. It's like a post-apocalyptic world, and Dylan O'Brien's kind of like that nerdy kid, and he's just like trying to survive. Doesn't really want to like put himself out there and like be the hero, or he does, I think, but they just won't let him. And it's just like this cool journey he goes on to find like the woman that he loves, and he's got to travel through all this thing, and there's a bunch of monsters and stuff. That's why it's called Love Monsters. Really cool movie, very underrated 2020 movie. Like, I recommend the movie a lot. Next up, we got Lord of the Rings 4K. I really want to get the steelbooks of these, but the 4K cover of this is really cool. And I love just Lord of the Rings movies are some of the best of all time. I'm gonna rewatch these soon because I haven't seen the Hobbit movies yet, which I talked about in my Blu-ray video. I'm going to watch the 4K of this, which I heard is really good. I haven't seen the 4K restoration of this yet, but I'm sure it's amazing. And my plan is to literally give all Lord of the Rings movies 5 out of 5. I don't know if that's going to happen. The third one, Return of the King, I watched the one. Okay, so let me tell you about Lord of the Rings real quick. I don't want to waste so many of you guys' time. Fellowship of the Ring, I enjoyed a lot. I give it like a 4 out of 5. I thought it was really good. I didn't love it. I thought Fellowship of the Ring was really good. Then I watched The Two Towers. I actually didn't like it as much. I thought it was really boring in like the middle parts, so I ended up giving like a 3.4 out of 5. I think, I don't know, it was a long time ago, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. And then so I was like, I'm in that mindset, and then I watched 3, and 3 blew me away. Return of the King, I gave a 5 out of 5 straight out. So I think when I watch it again, Return of the King's rating will stay the same, but I want to bump up Fellowship of the Ring and The Two Towers, which I hopefully will happen. Next up, I love this movie, La La Land. I think I talked about this last video as well, or when I talked about, actually I told me when I talked about Cinderella because of the musical. Another 5 out of 5. Just this movie hits hard for me. I like this movie a lot, man. It's like it's just beautiful movie. Next up, we got Logan, another one I watched recently. I remember watching this in theaters and just being I don't want to spoil it, but I'm sure you've seen it. I was just being devastated by the end. A brilliant movie. I watched it again recently, and I always thought it was a 5 out of 5 movie. And then I watched it and I was like, it's more like a 4.4 out of 5. I don't know why. It's just maybe some things weren't, I don't know. But I do love it. One of the best superheroes of all time. And we'll never see a better Wolverine, probably. Unless Carl Urban takes the mantle and Marvel and MCU. Maybe he might be better, but probably not. And lastly, for Elle, we got the 35th anniversary edition of Labyrinth. Supposedly I watched the movie a lot when I was a kid, but I barely remember. Like, I haven't never seen it, I guess, since I was a kid. My mom keeps telling me, like, oh, you used to always watch movies as a kid. I literally have no recollection of this movie. So maybe when I watch it, like, just a flood of memories will just hit me. But, yeah, I got it. Look how cool. Like, it's like a little booklet thing, right? And you can open it up, and it's got, like, cool cover artwork here. Like, a whole booklet, stuff from the script. Got the 4K disc. I just love, like, how that looks and everything. The slipcover's cool. But, yeah, I gotta watch it. I don't remember it. Dave Bowie stars in it, so hopefully soon I'll watch it. Some I watched this already, so it's coming up. Next up, I got the 6-movie collection 4K of Mission Impossible movies. I've really loved Mission Impossible franchise. Never a huge fan. I watched the first one when I was young because it was like one of the only movies I had like on my iPod. So I really loved the first one. But then I planned on watching the whole franchise recently. So I rewatched the first one and I loved it just as much, like a 4.6 out of 5 for me. The second one's probably the weakest in my opinion, but I still enjoyed it. The third one was actually good, directed by J.J. Abrams, and Philip Seymour Hoffman's also in it, so that's both a plus for me. And then what's after that? Rogue Nation, right? Or is it Ghost Protocol? Oh, Ghost Protocol, which is also good. Rogue Nation was also good, which I like both on the same tier. Both those aren't like as memorable. I think I'd give them like a 3.6 out of 5. But then after that is Mission Impossible Fallout. I cannot recommend or talk highly enough about Mission Impossible Fallout. Henry Cavill's also in it. Alec Baldwin's in it. Just literally that movie for me is like a 4.8, maybe a 5 out of 5 for me. Like probably one of the best action movies of like the last couple of years at least. But just by far the best of the franchise. So good. I don't even want to spoil it. Just go watch Fallout if you haven't seen it yet. Next up is the Matrix trilogy. You guys might have seen this in the back of my video when I react to the Resurrections trailer. Another set of movies. Oh, look how cool it is. Never actually looked in the back there. Another set of movies that I like a lot. I mean, the first one's a 5 out of 5 for me. That's cool. It shows the Matrix here. 5 out of 5 for me. Such a cool concept. Kind of changed the game for a lot of things, actually. And then we got, what's after that? Reloaded is next, right? Reloaded, just, these next two aren't on the same tier as the first one. In my opinion, they're both enjoyable. I think they're actually both good. maybe. But yeah, just nowhere near that first one. And then Matrix Reloaded. I'm sorry, Matrix Revolutions is another decent one. But I don't know. Like I don't like the first one's so good, and then the rest just don't ever live up to those expectations. So I don't really know how to look at the trilogy as a whole. But I am excited for the next one. So I don't know what they're doing with a couple of things though. I'm kind of skeptical. But it looks good. The trailer was sick. Next up, I got Man of Steel. Cool like holographic thing with it. Really love Man of Steel. Another one where I wasn't really a big fan of it when I first saw it. I didn't really like the whole dark interpretation of it. But when I watched it again, I did really enjoy it. And then next up, we got Mad Max Fury Road, where I watched all the Mad Maxes leading up to it. And I thought the first one was really good. The second one I thought was also really good. And the third one I thought was like, eh. I wasn't really a big fan of the third one, actually. But Fury Road, this is another one where when I first watched it, now it's getting to be a hassle. I keep saying this. I didn't like it the first time I saw it. And I watched it again, and I really loved it. It just shows like how much like your perception and opinion can change on movies just as you go along. I think like every year your opinion can change on whatever movies. You don't have to like have this set opinion. Your opinions change. So I think that's pretty cool how you can look at movies different ways as you grow up. And I'm sure maybe for all these movies, my opinion may change as I get older and older, new experiences, all this stuff. So let's get into the next one. All right, so I don't want this video to be too long, so we're going to keep these going quicker now. So for N, I got Nobody, right? New movie that came out this year, right? No, last year, 2020. Starring Bob Odenkirk. Thank God he's okay now. You heard about his heart attack and stuff. Creators of John Wick. Really great action movie. I love this movie, like a 3.9 out of 5. That was super cool. Next letter. All right, so we only got one O again. We got Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Now, I talked about all my Tarantino movies, my Blu-ray collection. I have a lot of Blu-rays of those. I didn't get to talk about Hollywood. But this is another one where I actually saw it in theaters. So I was already a big Tarantino fan by the time this came out in 2019. So I went to go see it in theaters. And this is one of my most memorable movie theater experiences. Because I remember one of my two cousins, and like, we just couldn't get into it in the beginning. And then halfway through, we just started dying laughing because we thought it was so bad. And we just couldn't believe it. It was kind of like that insane laughter. We were like, just laughing at the movie because we thought it was so bad. And finally, only at the end did we actually really like it because it got like more Tarantino with the blood and the action, all that stuff. But so, hold on. Before you turn me off for having that opinion on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, then I watched it again. I love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'm reading the book right now by Tarantino, right? The new book that he's got. I'm reading it right now. I love it. And I just love the vibe of this movie now. It's something that I don't like. I don't think it's one of his best movies, right? It's like maybe like a mid-tier Tarantino for me. But I just love the whole. It's like the perfect background movie for me. I just love putting on the background. Maybe go on my phone, like because I've already seen it so many times now, right? And it's just like a cool vibe, and I just love the music in it now. I downloaded the whole album, right? When I first saw it, actually, I love the album already. You got like Good Thing and like the Paul Revere and the whole vibe. It's just a cool story now. I love the ending. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Hollywood now. And yeah, the 4K looks great too. I got the Steelbook. Can't wait to show you guys that. And that's it. Let's go into P. Before we get into P, another one I forgot to show you guys is the Bourne Ultimate Collection I got. I got this because I watched all of them recently. Or I watched up to Ultimatum. I actually haven't seen Bourne Legacy or Jason Bourne yet. But you guys might hate me for this. I'm not a fan of this franchise. The first one, I understand like what it did for action movies in general at the time. That's probably the best one for me that I've seen. I did like the ending. I think it's watchable. Like I think it's fine. I don't know if I end up liking it at the end. But then like Supremacy, it was just the same shit. I just hate how it's like Jason Bourne just running around, and it's like the same just movie for me. It's like he's running, he doesn't remember anything. People are chasing him. The whole movie is just like him running away, and then he gets some memories, and then the Ultimatum was the same thing for me. I know a lot of people love Ultimatum. It was just the same. I was like, okay, I'm just tired. Like maybe because I watched them back to back to back, and maybe it's not a good way to do it. I don't know, but I was just like, I'm so tired of these movies. I just don't like them. So if you like these movies, I'm sorry, but just not for me. I don't know. All right, so for P, let's start out with a franchise that I actually do enjoy, Predator 4 movie collection. I know these movies aren't like that good. Maybe the Bourne movies are better than these, and I just said these are better. But I just love the first Predator movie, right? Predator 2, you know what's funny? I actually don't like Predator 2. I've only seen it once though, so I gotta watch it again. But I remember when I reviewed it, I said it was like one of the worst sequels I've ever seen. but I know a lot of people love it, and I love Danny Glover too. So I don't know why I said that. Like, it was a couple of years ago. Maybe a lot has changed since then. But Predators, I actually did enjoy because they tried to do something different. You know, it's actually a really crazy story, right? They just get dropped into a planet, and then it's revealed that that's like the Predator planet. They're not even on Earth. And the cast for Predators. The one thing that's memorable about it is that cast is way too good for a Predator movie. Adrian Brody, Lawrence Fishburne, Mahershala Ali, just like Oscar-winning actors in a Predator movie. So it's just funny, like watching that now, seeing how big these guys have gotten. Probably Predators. And then it's got the 2018 Predator movie, which is not good. I don't like that one. And now they're coming out with another one with a female lead, which is fine, but I'm just skeptical on like how it's gonna go, you know. So next up, we got another Nolan movie, The Prestige. Cool holographic for this one too. It's got the UK stuff, which I don't like. Another 5 out of 5 for me. One of the best. Like, I remember watching at 3 a.m. and just my mouth dropping, like just the whole twists and turns, and at the very end, it's just a jaw-dropping twist. So, love that movie. And this movie is probably the movie I have the most copies of. Parasite. I have so many different versions of Parasite, but rightfully so. I mean, it's one of the best movies of all time, right? Bong Joon-ho, 2019 Best Picture winner. Probably seen it a couple of times now. And it's always a 5 out of 5 for me. It's a good movie. If you haven't seen Parasite by now, I mean, I'm sure you have. So, yeah, let's go into the next one. So we're almost at the end, guys. Thank you if you watch this. Like, these videos take so much out of me just talking for so long. So thank you if you stuck around for this long. Please make sure to like it too. But just thank you. I always enjoy talking about all these movies, and it's just a fun time. So we got 1R. We got Requiem for a Dream, directed by Darren Aronofsky. It's traumatizing movie. Like, 5 out of 5, right? Don't get me wrong. Probably the most anxiety-inducing, insane, like traumatic movie like I've ever watched. It's just like with the score and like the visuals and like the way they depict like the drugs, and it's just like an insane movie the way they do stuff. Like what's her name? Ellen Bernstein puts on the best, like one of the best ones I've ever seen. Like in general, not just by a woman, but like in general, like Ellen Bernstein kills in that movie, kills it. I love her. One of the Wayne brothers is in it. Jared Leto's in it. Jeff Connolly is in it. Super, super good. I haven't even opened this one up yet, but I'm excited to see what it looks like in 4K. I'm sure it looks good. But yeah, I mean, insane movie. Insane. And let's go into S. We're probably going to have a lot of S's. Alright, so yeah, we got a lot of S's here. So let's just run by these. So first up, we got Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. My second favorite Spider-Man movie. Probably Spider-Man 2 is just above it. Really, you know what? This movie keeps getting better and better and better every time I watch it. Probably like a 4.6 out of 5 right now. But I do think it probably will go to a 5 out of 5 at one point. I mean, it's so good, right? So I don't want to waste too much more time. Next, we got Space Jam 4K. This came out recently in anticipation for the second one. I watched it again. I still really did enjoy it. I get like a 3.6 out of 5. I still think it was good. Maybe a lot of it was nostalgia. And it's in one of those movies where you don't have to focus. It's a really short movie. You know, you throw it on, you know, you go on your phone, you know, you look up for the good moments, and that's it. It's nothing crazy. I did love this one, obviously better than the second one. And Jordan is very like charismatic in this one too, which helps it out a lot. Next up is Mel Brooks' Spaceballs, another movie I can have a lot of fun with because I love Star Wars. And yeah, I love Spaceballs. I think I did watch it on 4K. No, maybe I didn't actually. I don't think I saw the 4K restoration of this yet. But another fun movie. I actually probably should watch it again, even though I think I did see it like 2 years ago. But yeah, I do like that. Next up, I got Schindler's List in 4K. I want to get the Steelbook, but it's kind of hard to find. Pretty expensive. I think even this is hard to find, the 4K version of this. But this is what I was saying. Like this, I think this is Spielberg's best. I think. Just a really tough watch for some, but really just brilliant movie. I remember I started late at like 12 a.m. and I was like, you know, I'll finish it tomorrow. Like, it's a long movie. It's like 3.5 hours, I think. I was like, I'll start and I'll finish it tomorrow. And I was just so hooked that I just stayed up to like 3 or 4 a.m. and I just finished it all. Next up is Dario Argento Suspiria. This one, I think I'm going to make sure I watch this again this Halloween. Because when I first watched it, I did like it, but I didn't like love it. But I think now, I think I'll really love it. I watched the 2018 version too. And I think that one was so brilliant. It was so good, the new one. I love that one. But this one, the visuals are really sick. You can already tell like in the back. Love the whole witch vibe. So I want to watch this one again, I think. So I think I should be rated higher than what I rated it. Next up, we have Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. this movie came out in theaters, I was kind of like at a hard like place in my life, so I actually didn't go to the theaters to see it. But I waited until it came out in 4K. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie. When I first watched it, I liked it. I think it's easy to like it when you first watch it. You know, you turn your brain off. You're just like Star Wars. You know, like oh, like this is the end of everything. And I wasn't even a big sequel fan by then. But I did like. I love Force Awakens, and I did enjoy like The Last Jedi. But then Rise of Skywalker, it's like you just watch it again, and like you just figure out like all the behind the scenes stuff, and like they didn't really have a plan, and you just start looking at it like a certain way, and it's just like, wait, this one's like really bad. So I don't like it now. I've only seen it once though, so I gotta watch it again in full. And I just don't think I'll like it as much. I was like, when I first saw it, I thought it was okay. You know, I give it like 3.5 out of 5. I did cry at the end too, so I don't know. Maybe I will still like it. I don't think so though. Next up is Stand By Me. Another Stephen King novel. Another great movie. Probably a 5 out of 5 again for me. Just super. It's just super good. If you've seen Stand By Me, you know how good it is. I don't need to talk about it. Next up is A Star Is Born. I saw this one in theaters. I love Gaga. I love Bradley Cooper. I love this movie a lot. I know some people don't like it. I can see why. If you're not a big like music fan or you don't like these actors and the stories, maybe you don't like Bradley Cooper's character and stuff, but I do enjoy that one a lot. Next up, Sicario, another Denis Villeneuve movie. I love the way this movie looks. I'll probably give like a 4.2 to 5. It does get a little slow at times, but Benicio del Toro's character and everything he does and the whole like what's actually happening in the movie, like that twist is really cool too. So I love Sicario. Next up is The Shining, probably my second favorite horror movie of all time behind Halloween. Really love this movie. Got shown to it as a kid. You know, I'm like 8 years old. My mom was like, "Oh, watch The Shining." Who does that to the kid? Traumatized me. I couldn't even go to the bathroom without looking behind the bathroom curtain for like years. I'm telling you, like for years, like until I was like 16 is when I stopped looking behind the shower curtain every time I went to the bathroom. All because of that movie with the bathroom girl. I had to always do that. I'm telling you, every time I went to the bathroom for years, I'd go in there, peek over. So yeah, that's pretty much the definition of like traumatizing. Next up, Shaun of the Dead. Talked about this earlier when we talked about Baby Driver. Really cool movie, just a super well-made movie. Just it's like one of those movies that like film class will show you, just to show you like how proper editing is done, and how just a really cool movie. Probably my second favorite zombie movie. My number one we'll talk about when we get to the Steelbooks. But yeah, Shaun of the Dead's great. Next up, Shape of Water, another Best Picture winner that kind of gets like shit on sometimes. And I can see why. It's nothing like 5 out of 5 material. I'll probably give it like a 3.4. I think I rated it. I don't know. I did enjoy it, but I just don't know if it's like Best Picture worthy. You know what I'm saying? And the next one I got this one recently because I had to have it in my collection. It's Scarface, starring Al Pacino. Another 5 out of 5. Come on, it's Scarface. I don't know why they're remaking. I was talking about this yesterday with my friend. I don't know why they're remaking Scarface. And Luca Guadagnino is directing, which I like him as a director, but him directing Scarface, I don't know how it's gonna go. The next one, another new release came out last week, I think. Star Trek: The Original 4 Movie Collection. I have never seen these movies. That's why I got them. I always heard it was like they were all really good. Love that artwork though. Look at that. But yeah, like before I watch this, I want to watch the series, at least the original series. But it's just so much to get into. So it's like I don't know when I'm gonna watch this, but hopefully soon. But we just got through S. That was a lot. Let's go into the next letter. Almost actually forgot about one more S. I have source code here. And I actually think Roger Ebert's review down here, it says source code is an ingenuous thriller, thumbs up. It's nothing like, it's not highly acclaimed as these other movies I've been talking about. But yeah, it's like a thumbs up. Like, yeah, that was good. It's like a time loop movie. Jake Gyllenhaal stars in it. It's like he's stuck in like this. Well, it's actually, I don't want to even talk about it. It's, go into it blind, and it's really cool. Just know it's a time loop movie. So yeah, that's a cool movie. But let's go into T. So I got the Ten Commandments, which I heard is a really, really good 4K restoration. Like a really good one. And I just haven't seen it yet. I think I'm waiting for Easter time. I know it's always on during Easter. So I guess I'll watch it then. But I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Hopefully one day I will. I do like Charlton Heston, right? He stars in it. I think so. I'm pretty sure it's Charlton Heston, yeah. So I gotta watch this one day. I know it's a classic. I haven't seen it yet. Alright, so the next one is the infamous Terminator 2 on 4K. I say infamous because the 4K restoration is supposedly really bad. And I think I've seen the 4K restoration. It's one of my first like 4Ks. So when I first watched it, I didn't really know like what a 4K should look like. So like I wasn't really paying attention to like what the movie looked like. If I watch it now, maybe I'd notice how bad it looks. But I just can't give you like an accurate like depiction of like what it looks like because I don't remember. But I mean, 5 out of 5 movie though. Don't get me wrong. I mean, one of the best action movies of all time. One of the best sequels of all time. Maybe only The Dark Knight is a better sequel. But yeah, Terminator 2 is a phenomenal movie. I loved watching that. I gotta watch it again. And this one I guess should be in W, but it's duh. So I have The World's End. I'm really pissed how I have Shaun of the Dead and The World's End, but I don't have Hot Fuzz yet, so I do have to get on that. The World's End, another thumbs up movie. I like it. Like a 3.6 out of 5. You know, it's I'm spoiled a cameo in it, but it's a fun movie. I love how it's like a drink around the world thing. They want to go to each bar, kind of relive their glory days from the past, and I just love that whole vibe. I think it's really cool. So another really cool like drinking movie. I want to watch that again too. It's like a good vibe, nice lighthearted movie. And let's get into the next letter. Alright, so after C it goes U and then V, right? I don't have any U's or V's on 4K, so we're going into W, right? So we're almost done. So we got Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds. I watched this recently. I got the original 1956 movie on Criterion. I thought that one was really good. I thought that was a cool movie. So then I watched this one. I thought it was really good as well. I gave it like a 3.7 out of 5. I liked it actually more than I thought. What's cool is that when I looked up more about the movie and how people saw it and they like kind of like related to 9/11, I thought that was such a cool way to look at the movie too. It was like very, you know, kind of like a sadder way to look at it, but also like a more powerful way. So I gotta watch it again now with that mindset. But I really love War of the Worlds. Very like underrated Spielberg movie. I don't hear about this movie as much as I'd like to, but really cool. Next up, I got Warrior. Now my opinion on this movie is like, I think it's good. Like I think it's okay. I know some people love this movie. I see like 5 out of 5 ratings for this movie, and I just I don't know. Like here it says as powerful and unforgettable as Rocky. Like I don't know about that. Come on, Rocky. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like maybe because I looked at it like through those lenses. Like this isn't Rocky, or I should have just looked at it like his own thing. But I don't know. It's cool. Like the whole premise is cool. Like it's a movie that I should like. You know, two brothers. One's like this like beast of a man who's, you know, Tom Hardy, just like angry. The other one's like this teacher who's trying to make money, you know, for his kids and his family. So they both enter this UFC tournament. Obviously, like they have to fight their way, and you know the last battle is them two, like brother versus brother. Like that should be like a movie that I'd love. Like just the premise is sick. So it's a movie that I feel like I should like, but I just don't. For some reason, I just don't like it as much as I should. I don't know. Next up, we got the ultimate cut of Watchmen, the director's cut, the complete story. I really love Watchmen. I think it's a really cool. I mean, the comic is literally. I think I will say it's the best comic of all time. Like I know it's hailed as that, but I really do believe that. When I read it again, I was like, this is so good. And the movie is not as good, but it's really good. I love Watchmen. I think it's really cool. Just aesthetic, what Zack Snyder does with the whole vibe of that movie, I think is perfect. So, and lastly, we got Wonder Woman on 4K, regular 4K, no slipcover, unfortunately. And this is my second favorite DC EU movie. Used to be my favorite for a while, until we'll talk about that movie coming up. But yeah, I think Gal Gadot is almost perfect as Wonder Woman. And I love it. I love the first Wonder Woman. I think it's so good. I think it's like, especially towards the end, I get like actually excited by that whole fight, and it's super powerful. So let's finish this up. I'm so dumb. Okay, so before we get into the Z's, I do have one U. I just happen to forget. Unforgiven with Clint Eastwood, starring Morgan Freeman as well. 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. I always never knew that when I first saw it, but it was such a good movie. I give it like a 5 out of 5 too. It's one of those movies that I watched it like for some reason. I don't even know why I came across this when I first started watching movies, but I did, and it was so good. It was so good, and I just don't remember that much of it though when I look back at it. I don't know why, but yeah, I love Unforgiven. But let's go into Z's. Let's finish this up. So first up, we got this movie called Zombie. It's this Italian like horror movie. I heard it's really good, but the only reason why I even got this was, if you guys are watching this, I'm sure you guys follow Films at Home. I think his name is Jeff. A little shout out for his channel, even though he's like the biggest like 4K film reviewer out there. You know what's cool? He actually followed me on Instagram, I think, a couple months ago, which is really cool for me. I love that. But yeah, so I got this because he always puts up those videos where it's like top 4Ks of 2020, 2021. I think this was 2020, and it was like number 9 or number 8. And so for those videos, I always like to get those top 10s or whatever he says. So Zombie was one of them. Never even heard of this movie. Like I said, Italian horror film. Supposedly it did a lot. Supposedly it's really good. So for this Halloween, I'm gonna make sure I watch this. So I've had this now for about like almost a year, and I want to get it. Blue Underground 2. I think it's my only Blue Underground title, because I don't really go out of my way like outside of Best Buy or Zavi, but I should maybe once I make more money I can. Lastly, I think this is it, right? We got the new Zack Snyder's Justice League on 4K. So happy to finally own this. I wasn't a huge Snyder fan. Like, I wasn't one of those, not saying annoying, but I wasn't one of those big advocate for the Snyder Cut when it was first announced. Like, I just like never thought it was. I always thought it was a pipe dream. Like for me, I just didn't like. I knew it was out there. Like I was like, okay, this probably exists, but I was like, I don't believe in Warner Brothers to actually like go and put this out there. Like I just didn't think it would ever happen. So once it did, I was excited. I was like, oh my god, I wasn't expecting this. Then I watched the trailer, and that's what got me really hyped. The whole Hallelujah trailer, I was so hyped for that. So then I watched the movie, right? It's like, what, 4 hours long? A little bit over 4 hours. And I really loved it. I gave it like a 4.6 out of 5, which is super high for me. And I was like, but can this movie really be like, is it rewatchable? It's such a long movie. But that day, I was a little drunk, so I went home and I watched it again. And I gave it pretty much the same rating. So ever since then, I solidified this is like, okay, this is one of the best superhero movies ever made. And I remember I was going to make my top 10 superhero movies list, and I was like, does Zack Snyder's League cut it? And I just don't know. I think there's so many Marvel movies that I always put 5 out of 5, so I'm just not sure. But really happy to finally own this. Great movie, better than the original. And that's it. So if you guys stuck around for this long, thank you. I appreciate it. So much fun talking about all these movies. I'm shocked after talking for so long. Please make sure to subscribe if you're new here. Please make sure to like the video again. And that's it. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.